What are we going to do about South Africa as part of AGOA?
Well,
I mean, South Africa is clearly not America's friend.
That's correct. We've had some conversations with the South Africans when it comes to trade. And again, there are a lot of kind of foreign policy issues that I don't get into with South Africa. But when it comes to trade, they have a lot of barriers, not just tariff, but non-tariff barriers, et cetera. We've made clear to the South Africans that if they ever want to have a better tariff situation with us, they need to take care of these tariffs and non-tariff barriers. They're a real economy. They're a big economy, right? They have an industrial base. They have an agricultural base. They should be buying things from the United States.
But if you extend AGOA for 1 year without reforming it, that's going to benefit South Africa, right?
It could. I would say we have a 30% reciprocal tariff on South Africa right now, which is much higher than the rest of the continent. So we'll control for it a little bit. But I think South Africa is a unique case. I agree with you, if that's your point.
Don't you think we ought to separate South Africa and AGOA?
I'm happy to consider that, right? Congress has come to me and said, we want AGOA. And I think if we're going to have a giveaway, we need to figure out how to improve it. If you think that we should give South Africa different treatment, I'm open to that because I think they are a unique problem.
Well, they're a unique problem for America.
Correct.
They're our enemy right now. They're buddies with all of our enemies, and they've been very critical of the United States.
That's exactly right, and that's why they're actually treated in a much different way. Most of the African continent, sub-Saharan Africa, has just a 10% tariff, and South Africa has a 30%.
In breaking news, the ongoing tensions between South Africa and the U.S. have now surged to boiling point. Washington has threatened consequences over what it deems as slights against its officials. It's accusing Pretoria of blocking its officials from rendering aid to Afrikaners. The U.S. says, quote, it will not tolerate such behavior. The row follows a raid on a non-governmental U.S. refugee processing center in Johannesburg earlier this week. 7 Kenyans have since been deported for working at the center illegally. They did not have work permits.
China, Russia, we're going to work with them on our own terms. The Chinese don't go around Africa stealing anything from Africans. Your corrupt leaders overcompensate in exchange for something personal. That's what happens. The Chinese don't steal anything. They are in business. When the more you give them, the better for them. Why must they say no? Your leaders are not negotiating in good faith. They are negotiating with their families in mind. That's why they overcompensate. So we have no such a relationship with China. We've got a socialist and developmental relationship with China, and we know that China will help us. Russia is not our friend ideologically. We are with Russia in its fight against Ukraine because we know it's a NATO fight. It's not a Ukraine fight. So that NATO can expand its territory and be closer to Russia and undermine Russia. For that, we'll be with Russia because we can't allow territorial expansion of imperialism and colonialism in whatever direction. But Putin is not left. The government of Russia is not left ideological. If anything, Putin will be more aligned with the US in terms of policy and ideology, except there are fundamental differences on imperialism, where Russia feels that America wants to control it through expanding the military base of NATO, because the military base of NATO is an American military base. So we are with Russia in that context. Not that ideologically we are aligned. But with Vietnam, with Cuba, with China, it's a clear ideological alignment of the left forces. And that's where we belong. And we don't isolate anyone.
Yeah, of course. Every day we're trying to build a new Africa, piece by piece.